revisiting my dreams with the king.
Mention.
Well, I'm an artist by nature, so I'm a vocalist, and that's
Like, oh, you
basically
sing?
I do.
Did,
That's what people know me for. And so,
I'm tripping because I didn't know that.
yep, that's what people know me for, and
See,
it's just been a joy to find other things,
yeah.
that I can do that I'm creative with. So yeah.
Yo, good people, welcome to another episode of The Ride, a journey to your dreams. I'm your host, Johnny King III, aka Still Chill Leroy, and this is the Revisit Your Dreams podcast show exclusively on the Revisit Your Dreams channel right here at youtube.com. I want to thank you for being here today. As always, have a very special guest and a very special show to bring to you. But before we start, I'd like to remind you of what we're doing here at Revisit Your Dreams. Provide inspiration, motivation, encouragement. We explore real life stories of trial, error, and success, and maybe even provide a few laughs along the way. There's a lot going on in the world today. I hope you are learning and celebrating Black History this month. But I thank you for being here because you could be anywhere in the world. So thank you for spending it with us tonight. Today's episode is titled Fully Independent Creating Your Own Product, Supply, and Demand. My very special guest today is a budding entrepreneur and fashion creator. She's the owner and proprietor of I Designs by Iika T. Mac, a creative apparel brand providing unique fashion forward crochet designs. Her eye popping design sweaters are turning heads and outfitting fashion forward women across the U.S., men too. Her unique crochet designs provide a level of warmth with a giant splash of personality and color. Her own bright personality shines through and beyond her fashions as she performs as a model for her own creations. She is a lifelong resident of the state of Mississippi and earned her business administration degree from Mississippi University for Women. After 30 years as an admissions administrator for the university, she retired as the director of admissions and now works independently for herself from home. She's a multi-talented creative with a strong vocal sense. She's a proud wife and mother. If there has ever been a more engaged entrepreneur, I'll put her up against him. If you're
Oh,
an entrepreneur who is looking to grow and expand your business and represent your brand to the fullest, this is an episode for you. Please welcome to the show my friend and very special guest, Iika Taylor McCarter. Welcome to the show.
I feel like clapping it up for myself. Like, wow, that was for me, right?
Roll call.
Wow.
Roll call. That was
Thank
for
you so
you.
much. That was so cool. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. I was excited about interviewing you. I've been a long time fan of what you do creatively. I like to start off each episode by letting the audience know how I know each guest.
Hmm.
Every guest that I interview, at least up to this point, is somebody that I know personally, somebody that I've had some type of relationship with.
Sure.
Ika, I met many years ago at a wedding. Me and her were in her sister's wedding together.
Yep. Yep.
And so that's when we met. Our relationship started there, and then we just kept in touch over the years. Not really like close tabs, but
Yeah.
I follow her on Facebook and her social accounts, and have watched her business shine and her designs shine, and they've inspired me. So I brought her here, so maybe she can inspire you. So thank you for being
Absolutely.
here, Aika. Do you have any recollection of how we met?
I do remember, of course, the wedding, the wedding, and
Hmm.
meeting a lot of cool, folks and people from my sister's interactions. And so I remember all of you guys. Of course, I've gone to a couple of parties
Hmm.
in Nashville that I remember running into you with at. And so, yeah, I thought it was cool to even be able to have this opportunity to reconnect. So I'm appreciative. So thank you for allowing me to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that too. Yeah, and we've seen each other multiple times. It wasn't just
Hmm.
the wedding, over the
Right.
years. So
Absolutely.
at
Hmm.
different events. So it's always been cool. You've always been a cool, bubbly personality, and I've always appreciated that. So I thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let's get to it. Off the top, your
Mm,
designs are outstanding.
thank
I
you.
damn near wanted to call them beautiful. And if you
I'll
look
take that.
if you look behind her, you can see some of those designs, or in front of her, to her side, left, right, beautiful designs. My maternal grandmother was a crocheter. Like, she crocheted quite a bit, and I remember seeing multiple pieces like you have hanging up around the house, and orders for different people. So I was
Hmm.
intrigued by your designs, and how when you started making them into sweaters, I really got intrigued by that. So I'm fond of the art and the talent. But my question for you, first question, is how did you start crocheting, and what led you to focus on sweater designs?
So, Johnny, I'll say that crocheting and knitting kind of found me. I retired 2 years ago. Will be 2 years ago in June, and before I retired, my thoughts were I want to find something that we don't know where I could be a little more creative. I'm a singer.
Mm.
So I've always, been a singer, and I've always, gone out and sang in different places, church, and an entertainer. And so my thoughts were, I gotta be, it has to be more than that, in me. And so one of the things I wanted to do was to find a hobby, something that I would enjoy doing. I never thought I would be doing, I would have a business at all. That was not a plan.
Hmm.
And so I wish you could see some of the things that I fell into. So I did a little art. I painted a little bit. I have a huge painting in my house that I did. I did a little air clay pottery. So I made bowls. Um, I thought I was going to be a little interior designer. We built a home about a little over 3 years ago. And since while I was working, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of decorating. So when I retired, I just immersed myself right into decorating my home. So for the first 3 or 4 months, that's what I did. And so after I did all of those things, I was like, okay, what else? What else? And I remember being on TikTok and seeing these, women making these blankets. And I thought, I could do that. I'm the kind of person, if I watch a video long enough, I'll convince myself that I can do it. I don't care what
Wow.
it is.
Yeah,
And so that's what I did. I
that's a
said, I'm going
gift.
to make a blanket, and I'm going to post it. And I made the blanket. Now, it wasn't the cutest blanket, but it was, to me, it was like, wow, I did that. And I still
Hmm.
have it. A couple of times I thought about redoing it because I know better now, but
Hmm.
I leave it as a reminder to say, this is where I started, and
Absolutely.
this is where I am, right? And so I made the blanket, posted it, and people were like, oh my God, I want one. Like, you want one? And the next blanket I made was for one of my friends who's a Delta. And I
Hmm.
made this red blanket with a huge white elephant face. It's on my page, but it's huge. And I tackled that one. That took me about 3 days to do because I still wasn't sure of what I was doing. And then I made another blanket. And then I had one of my sister-in-laws, who is a fashionista within her own right. She says, well, I want a cardigan.
Mm.
I said, girl, you ain't seen me make no cardigans. All you saw was a couple of blankets now, so pull up,
Right.
where that comes. She said, but I've seen them, and they're chunky cardigans. So I researched the chunky cardigan, and I said, look, it's not going to be the best, but I'll make it. And I made one, and it took off from there. And so I decided, okay, this might be something. I might be onto something really. And it just took off from there. So February, this February, I have just celebrated a full year in my business. It didn't have a name at first. I always like to play off of my name because it is unique. And
Hmm.
so I always throw it in there in something. I did used to do eyelashes too. And so I had eyelashes. And so I used to do that. And so anytime I can play off of my name, I will. But crocheting and knitting, so there's a difference that I had to learn between crocheting and knitting, and it is the stitch and what the stitch looks like. So this is actual knitting, and it's
Hmm.
hand knitting. And this, I'm going to show this hat. This is actual crochet, and
Okay.
that's what I would do with the needle.
Okay.
And so, or a hook, which is
Right.
probably what your grandmother did. This T-shirt that I have on, I made, and it's basically I cut out the size of the t-shirt and added the yarn by crocheting it on with the hook. And so
Hmm.
there is a difference, um,
Is
but
the
it's still
knit
yarn.
with the two long with the
Yes, there. I've not learned how to do that one yet, but I knit with my hands with this
okay.
chunky yarn.
Okay. Oh, so you
Yep,
do it by hand?
it's with my hands. Yeah,
That is outstanding.
all of it with the hoodies and everything is with my hands.
I am royally impressed with that. And I think my grandmother knitted too. I used to see her using all those different
Mhm.
tools. When
Mhm.
I say crocheting, I may be lumping a couple of things into that,
It's
not knowing what I was,
interchangeable.
yeah, not knowing what I
I
was
think it's
saying.
interchangeable anyway. Yeah.
But I'm very intrigued by the fact that you do it by hand. I'm very
Mhm.
intrigued by the fact that you started with just saying, if I watch a video, I bet I can figure out how to do it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if somebody want one of these, I bet I can make one better than I made the last one.
Mhm.
Like I am so inspired by
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
hope if you're watching that inspires you. Iika, when I mentioned my grandmother to you, I'm gonna tell you how alike you guys are.
Okay.
I don't know if my grandmother sang in church. I don't wasn't young enough to remember her going to church a lot because she had cancer when I was younger. She died when I was in sixth grade.
Okay.
But she was like my mom all up until that point, right?
Mhm.
Um, she was a songbird. She could
Mhm.
sing. She could cook her butt off.
Mhm.
Anything. She could sew. She could crochet. She made these mosaic paint designs where broken glass,
Yeah.
colored glass, these,
Mhm.
I mean, these outstanding designs in frames with broken glass art. Excuse me. Um, and she had her own beauty salon. She started a beauty salon. My mom ended up working for her and retiring as a beautician, selling the beauty salon. When my mom retired, like she did all the stuff it sounds like you do. Like I, I'm intrigued just because of like, man, it sounds like my grandmother, And um, I attribute all of my creative juices. Well,
Mhm.
I won't say all, but most of my creative juices I create attribute them to my grandmother. You
Wow.
know, my parents had something to do with it because I'm their DNA, and then they
Sure.
provided some tools and avenues for me. But man, that's amazing. I'm just intrigued by that. That's dope. Who does your brand appeal to, and how
Mm.
does one go about placing an order for one of your fashion sweaters?
So it's funny that you asked that question. I'm in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get really cold here. We have some cool snaps, if you will. We don't really have a winter.
Hmm.
Um, and so my initial thought was, who's going to buy these in the state of Mississippi? Again, I'm going to talk about my sister-in-law, who is an entrepreneur and has been for 25 years. And one of the things she told me is that, Ica, everyone is not going to be your customer.
Hmm.
It may not be family. It may not be your closest friends. It may not even be people that you patronize on a regular basis. They may not be your customers. So don't get your feelings hurt if they don't purchase. And that
Hmm.
has happened. People who I thought would buy something have not. And so, Johnny, I turned to initially was word of mouth. And then I found myself becoming a content creator. Just again, I fell into all of this. There was no thought of, let me get a game plan,
Hmm.
let me get a business plan or anything like that. It was purely um, what I prayed for. It was just, God, give me something that first I would enjoy doing
Hmm.
and that people would love to have and enjoy wearing or seeing or whatever. And like I said, I am a creative, so I enjoy all things that have anything to do with the arts. Um, I don't dance. I do dance, but I don't teach dance. But I
Hmm.
teach music and things like that. So anyway, I turned to Facebook first, and Facebook kind of blew up. People were like, "Oh my God, what is this?"
Hmm.
And then I started adding things to TikTok. And I had a couple of things to go viral. One of the things most recently is a cardigan, a two-tone cardigan, similar to this, and I have it over here, that I made for my daughter. She just crossed Delta,
Hmm.
and it's a red and ivory or red and cream cardigan hoodie, and people were like, "Oh my god!" And they started blowing me up. And I made more cardigans this year than I did last year. Every last year was all about blankets. I was making
Hmm.
all type of blankets. I made baby blankets. I made this particular blanket here is one of my what I call lap blankets. I don't know if you could see that,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I want to. Can I stop you real quick? I don't want
sure,
to stop you to interrupt you.
yeah.
If anybody that's a Delta watching right now, they like, I want to see that sweater. So can
Okay,
you
I'm
go
gonna
get
grab
that
it.
sweater real
Yeah,
quick? Yeah,
I
yeah,
sure
yeah.
will.
Shout out to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You know, my wife's an AKA, but my stepmother's a Delta. I got aunties that's Delta. I got
And I do
cousins
them
that's
all.
Deltas. I got a lot of Deltas as friends that I went to school with. So some of y'all watching right now, there you go.
So there's the hoodie. Like I said, it has the symbols, red in the cream side, and then
That's dope.
it's
Oh man, that's
yep
amazing. And you did all that by hand?
by my hand, by hand.
Now,
And what I go
how
ahead.
does it work with sizing? Like if people want
So
different sizes?
I um I like to customize.
Okay.
I watch people again on social media, and they'll just make a particular size, and they'll say it's one size fit all. Yeah, you could say that. And I'm
Mhm.
not knocking anybody that does what they do, but I like to tailor, to your body type. So I
That's
created a
dope.
video, and it's me
Love it.
measuring my daughter. And with every person that connects with me on social media in my inbox through my inbox, I send the video to them, and it's me standing up, and we do the shoulder measurements because we got to get how wide it is, right? And then I take the measuring tape and I go from a shoulder to however long you want it. So that's the length of it, and then we take the sleeve. Some people like the sleeves to hang over their hand, and some want them right at the
So you
at
give
the
them all
wrist.
those details
I give them
so
all the
they know how to
details.
customize pretty
That's
much
right.
their own sizes.
And they send it to me, and I sit and as I'm doing it, I'm measuring as I go so that it's just right for you.
That's dope. That is so
Yep.
dope. Now,
Yep.
so it's custom. It's
It
super
is.
custom. This
It
ain't
is.
mass produced. You can't just buy one of these she got hanging on the shelf. So if you want one, as dope as they are, it's gonna cost you a little bit and it might take a
Yep.
little time,
That's right.
but you're gonna enjoy it and you're gonna be the freshest person at the event.
That part, that part.
That
But yeah,
part.
social media is the way you get in touch with me. I have a business page on Facebook, I Designs by Iika T Mac. People also connect with me through my personal page, Iika Taylor McCarter. And then on TikTok, is again, I somewhat blew up there. I'm Auntie Mac on
Auntie.
Face on TikTok. And so people contact me there as well. But I get a lot of word of mouth, um, pretty much.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. All right, Auntie. All right, Auntie. Man, those are some dope designs. Those are dope designs. So, all right, you already touched on this a little bit,
Okay.
but maybe there's something in there that maybe can be added. So, how did you come to decision to be the primary brand ambassador and model for your own designs and promotion?
Again, I was looking for something that I could do, um, that was more creative than what I was already doing. I think that people um, are often stuck with what people say that they are. So, for instance, I've always been told I was a great singer,
Hmm.
right? And that you can sing. Girl, you can sing. I've always been told that since I was 3 years old. And honestly, I thought that was all I had.
Hmm.
I'm a motivator. I'm a leader. I always like to encourage people. Again, I think I'm a natural teacher in my own right, as it relates to pageants because I'm a pageant girl. I coach girls through pageants. I'm a pageant judge. I coach my own daughter through her pageant life. But I needed something else that was going to fulfill me. I wasn't planning on retiring and, of course, coming home and sitting down, but I wanted something else that I could pour into, and make people smile. When you put something on, you think about your dopest outfit. I mean,
Mhm.
when you put that on, can't nobody tell you nothing, right?
Right, right.
And so that is what I get the joy out of, is making something. I've reproduced this T-shirt probably 5 or 6 times because I posted it and I put it on, and people are like, "Oh, I want that."
Wait, hold up. I thought that was like a shawl or something. That's a
It's a
shirt?
T-shirt. It's a T-shirt. And just cut the sides of it out.
Oh, that's raw. That's fresh.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Okay.
So
So creative. Look, I hope this inspires you. If you have especially if you're in got a fashion idea and it seems outlandish, or it seems like something that's not on the market, something that people wouldn't subscribe to, create it for yourself and see
that's
what
right.
people like.
That's right.
That's what it seems
That's
like
exactly right.
what you did. And I mean, I'm looking at it like, I mean, I just because I'm a male, I probably wouldn't rock one of those, but that's dope. Yeah, I would buy one for someone for sure. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope. I like it. I'm very inspired by that. All right. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna
Okay.
bring it back to the designs and give you another
Sure.
opportunity to talk about your design. Because I want you to,
Okay.
show off a few more of your designs sitting around.
Perfect.
Okay. But you talked about being on social media. You talked about being vulnerable a little bit to for yourself to be promoting your own brands and putting
Mm-hmm.
yourself out there. But you recently endured a trying health journey, and you
Mm-hmm.
shared parts of that journey on social media and
Mm-hmm.
received lots of love and empathy. Who were you hoping to inspire and encourage with those posts?
Mm-hmm. As I stated in my live that day, and I'm going to try not to be too emotional. I think that we go through trials and tribulations not necessarily for ourselves. Yes, we're going through it, but on the other side of it is the miracle, is the victorious side of it. And so my whole thing is, if I tell my story, then maybe somebody else would hear it. And Johnny, after I hung up or got off of that live that day, somebody called me through Facebook
Mm,
and said, I deal with the same issue. So I have keloids, and that is basically something that is known for African Americans. It
mm,
is scar tissue that I
mm,
create or that my body produces. If I get a cut or burn, or if I have surgery, instead of my skin staying flat and healing like most people, it basically grows outward, and
mm,
it continues to grow. And it itches and it burns all the time. And as long as it's in that state, it's constantly growing. And some people, if you've ever seen a lot of people, they have it on their ears when they've
mm,
gotten ears pierced. And so I had had a previous surgery. The keloids developed even after the doctor told me that they wouldn't,
mm,
that he had done all that he was supposed to do to ensure that that didn't happen. And they became very bothersome. And so I decided after about 8 years that I was going to have them removed. And so I did my research and went to a plastic surgeon. And from the plastic surgery, I left right after that and went right into radiation. So I had to do 3 rounds of radiation behind the surgery. And what basically happens with that is the radiation stops the overgrowth of the skin cells so
mm,
that they won't produce the keloids again. Um, and again, when I wanted to share the story, it was, initially the enemy. And I'm a religious, I'm a spiritual girl. I
mm,
think everything that I do, God is in it, and I consult Him about it. I pray about it, um, and I want you know people to hear my heart. But initially, I recorded me talking about my surgery, and I
mm,
wanted to post it. And the first thing that hit my mind was, nobody wants to hear that. That's silly. That's stupid. Don't
mm,
post that. And it's still in my phone. And just one morning, I was cooking breakfast and I decided to go live. And I'm just like, I'm just going to wing it. Whatever comes of it, becomes of it.
mm,
Um, I've always been a little self conscious of myself, even though I did pageants and I shared this on my live as well. Um, I've, I had an issue with low self esteem growing up. I was bullied as a kid, overweight. I hated my skin complexion. I thought the lighter skinned girls were always the prettier girls, and I wasn't pretty enough, right? And so I self sabotaged a lot as well. And so I share all of those things about me because I want to be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the kind of person that likes to put on airs. What you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Every time I talk about that, it does evoke an emotion simply because I'm raw and I'm real. And I feel bad for people who feel like they have to live behind a shield or behind a veil.
Mm-hmm.
Be you, whatever that is, authentically you. I think that we have this new thing called the imposter syndrome. We're so worried about being found out that this is not who you really are. And we're always putting this representative out there in front of others. But what is it for? What is it all about?
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, what you see is what you get. This is no representative. This is just who Iika is. Every day, all day. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Very real, very raw, very vulnerable. I
Yeah.
appreciate so much, Ika, your vulnerability, and even right now telling the story of your illness and things like that, and what you went through with the surgery. My prayers continue to go out to you for
Thank you.
continued healing and continued comfort, all throughout, inside, outside your body. But I appreciate you being vulnerable enough to share that because not everybody saw that Facebook Live. Not everybody's watching
Hmm.
this saw that Facebook Live. And, you expanded upon that to talk about being vulnerable enough to share your story and to not, to take the veil off and to not be so concerned with what people think, and I
Hmm.
think I totally agree. Too many of us are too concerned with what people think.
Right.
And we're probably all guilty of that. Like you said,
Hmm.
with low self-esteem, that's because you're concerned with what somebody else
That's
somebody else
right.
thought.
That's right.
I was guilty of that too. Concerned what other people think. That stops you from pursuing your goals and dreams
Hmm.
a lot because you're worried about what other people how they might judge you, whether or not
Hmm.
they'll support you, whether or not they'll like it. And when you first start, or whether or not they'll understand it, when you first start, they probably won't like it. They probably won't
Right.
understand it. They probably
Hmm.
will judge you. Do it anyway
Hmm. That's right.
because you're
Absolutely.
not doing it for those people. You know,
Absolutely.
Ultimately, you're doing it for yourself, and you'll
Yeah.
find that God will lead you to the people or
Hmm.
lead the people to you that you were gifted to do that for. So,
Absolutely.
man, I appreciate you being so vulnerable in that response.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I hope that more of you watching, and that's why I ask some of these questions with my guests because not to pry into their personal lives.
Sure.
I only expect them to share whatever they are willing to share.
Hmm.
And I'll never ask personal questions. If you hadn't shared any of that on live, I would have never asked you about any of
Yeah.
that. But it helps people realize that I too can be myself. I too can be comfortable in my own skin. I too can be vulnerable and eliminate fear from the situation uh, so I can witness more opportunities. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying? Sometimes fear alone will stop you from opportunities.
Stagnates you.
You won't even
It'll
see
stagnate
them.
you. That's
You won't
right.
even
It'll
see
stagnate you.
opportunities because
Hmm.
if it's coming from this direction, I'm so scared I won't even look. You
And
know?
I've been there. I've been there. I've been stuck in a place to say I'm not. I'm too afraid to do it. I was, afraid of failing. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, if you will. Um, but even with my cardigans and my blankets, I wanted people to like them. But at the same time, Johnny, I knew they were good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Was and I don't think that's an arrogant thing, but it's just
No.
about confidence. I knew I was so confident in my abilities. I knew they were good. And so whether or not anybody in Mississippi ever bought one, my thoughts were somebody's going to see it. And I have shipped these things to just this week to Illinois, to North Carolina, to Michigan, to New York. I had somebody from that was on TikTok that was in Paris who ordered one for somebody in the States. But you can reach people way beyond your area, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
your demographic. And so you have to be willing and open to just put yourself out there. And that's That's what I decided to do. When you realize who you are and that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, man, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm intrigued by that. Let me ask you a quick question. This is a
Yeah.
sidebar question that came to mind. Do you think, because I see this a lot on TikTok, and I don't use TikTok a lot, to be honest with
Okay.
you. I probably should use it more than I
Hmm.
do.
Yeah.
But when I'm on there, I see a lot of people selling items. Fashion, I see quite a bit too. Uh, do you see a lot of traffic specifically from TikTok, more than some of the other sites as it relates to interest in your designs?
I do. That's where I got majority, I'll say, of the my far off places, if you will, my northern states. Um, so you can go through TikTok Shop if you want to, but anytime you go through those entities like a TikTok Shop, and Etsy, they take a percentage, and so I want to make all my money.
I heard that.
And so I you have to come to my page. I don't have a website right now. Honestly, I wanted to see how well I did. Again, I'm a year in,
Mhm.
um, and I didn't want to just jump right into doing too much too soon,
Mhm.
and just kind of build a brand, as you stated earlier, and build a clientele. I've already had people that that have gotten some things from me just a few weeks ago who said, "I'll be back. I'll be a repeat customer," and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Again, that word of mouth that goes so much farther at times. And so, eventually I'll get into possibly a website and other avenues. But for right now, I'm keeping it tight. I'm
Keeping it
keeping it
tight.
close. Yeah.
Organic, you're doing it organically, and
Yeah.
that's what people, that's what I think people gravitate toward. People see your personality,
Mm.
people hear how you talk, people see you wearing your own, stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
see you wearing it just in natural elements. You don't have to be necessarily dressed up,
Right.
doing it. You're not using fashion models, and that's not saying you're not a model, but you're
Yeah,
not
sure.
using
Yeah.
other models to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's inspiring, and people connect with the inspiration sometimes
Absolutely.
before they even really see what you got on, and
That's
then they
true.
see that and they're like, wait a minute, that's a crochet sweater. That's dope. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you watch it, take notes. Follow Iika Taylor McCarter on the social media pages. You can go see her on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and some of those other places. I don't know her handle on all those places. We'll have them listed, in the information below so you can see. But, some of you other people out there I know that are out there selling apparel, I've interviewed some of
So
you,
many
might take
talented
some
people.
notes.
So many talented, creative people out there.
Man, you one of them.
Thank you.
You're one of them. All right. Um, After 30 years at
Mm,
Mississippi University for Women, you
yeah.
retired as director of admissions.
Yeah.
That's a long time. 30 years of
Yeah.
anything is a long time, especially
Mm-hmm.
staying at one company,
Yep.
one organization. What fulfillment did you gain from serving that community for that length of time? And what did your length of service tell you about yourself?
Mm. So being at the W was that's what it's affectionately called. We call it the W. Um, had a lot to do with me being a student there. So I graduated from there. Um, had a great 4 years. I loved being at a small university. It's less than 3,000 students. And so you're not a number, you are definitely a name. We have Mississippi State about 20 minutes up the road from where we are, and it's about 15 to 20,000 students. And I didn't want to be that little fish in a big pond. I was used to
Yeah.
being, anyway. And so I wanted to make, I guess, an impact. And I believe I did as a student. And so everything that I do, I wanted to have purpose. And so after I graduated, um, Johnny, I was very fortunate. I always ask God for favor with Him and favor with man. And so I was about to graduate. 2 weeks before I graduated, I was working in the admissions office as a student worker,
Mhm.
and I was asked to become an admissions counselor. And really didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated. I got a degree in business. I wanted to do music, but my mama was like, all you're gonna be able to do with music is teach. I'm like, all right, well, you ain't gonna be able to make no money. And so, back in the '90s, yeah, you just did business, and so that's what I did, right?
Yeah.
And so, I again finished my 4 years, became an admissions counselor. 3 years in, I thought, all right, what's next? And honestly, I started looking into moving to Nashville. My sister was there, but she hadn't done an intern there, and I was wanting to go to Nashville, Murfreesboro specifically. I don't know
Yeah.
why that
Yeah.
area appealed to me, but I wanted to be there. Um, but then I was reached out to again from someone on campus, an administrator on campus, and said, "We have a position that's been available, been open for a year. You have to have a master's to hold the position, but we would like for you to take it." And it was director of multicultural affairs.
Mm.
And so I changed the name to director of diversity education and programs because we embodied all students of uh, various backgrounds, diverse backgrounds, no matter what your socioeconomic background was, but it was mostly ethnic backgrounds. No matter what your sexual preference was, what country you were from, it all fell under the umbrella of my office. And I did that job for 8 years, um, and it was so fulfilling. My whole idea was I want to empower students. I Not just students, but people in general, right? Um, if I can say something and it catapults you into your next, then I've done my service, Um, and that's what I feel like I've been put here to do is to empower people, to inspire them, to understand and know that you have purpose, um, not to give up on yourself so quickly. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. At the end of the day, it's all about what you think and what you're trying to do. Um, because I was so discouraged so many times in my life,
Mm.
um, about so many people, so many things, even self doubt. That when I came out of it, it was like, oh, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to conquer
Hmm.
everything, and I want everybody to feel this same type of joy,
Yeah.
this same type of energy, this vibe, as the kids would say now. And that's where I was in these positions. So each position, it had to be about making an impact, changing students' lives. And so, an admissions counselor, I was talking to students that were underprivileged and in low income areas. It's the Delta part of the state of Mississippi, where majority is people there are Black.
Hmm.
I ran into students parents still lived on the land they worked,
Like sharecropper land. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
which was so amazing to me.
Yeah.
When you leave the northern part of the state and go to the Delta, you know exactly where you are. It's all flat land,
Hmm.
right? And the mentality there was so different for me. I remember standing behind my table, and it was all adorned with my college tablecloth and all of the information, my pamphlets. And I had back then, like in the '90s, you wore business suits and pantyhose and your high heels.
Heels.
And I was
Yeah.
standing there feeling like, I'm about to do the darn thing. And I had girls standing back going, who she thinks she is, kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And who would want to go to a predominantly white school? They ain't gonna do nothing but be prejudiced. And they were saying these things. And I would say, come here, just come over here. And
Yeah.
I would get to talking to them, not about the university, but about life and changing your perspective about things. Don't judge it before you know what it is and things like that. And just from
Yeah.
my little speech from that, it would draw me in. And after a while, I would have a crowd, of students
Yeah.
standing around my table. And then at that point, it gave me an opportunity to share about my college. So
Hmm.
that was the admissions counselor. Of course, being a director of diversity, I was with my people. And if you were to pull one of my students in now, they would say, I was more than a mentor. I gave of myself. My husband would say sometimes you bring your work home every day. You got to cut these students off. They can't got to know that they can't contact you when you get off of work.
Hmm.
I'm like, bro, whatever. They
Right.
can.
They're my people. They're my
That's
people.
right. It's just what I wanted and what made me happy. And so I'm in contact with some of these students now, and they're in their 40s, 30s and
Yeah.
40s, and they will still tell you, Like I learned that from you. I picked that up from you. I learned organization. I learned, you know, black people don't have to be on CP time. And when Ica says we're starting at 5, you better be there at 4:45 because
Mm-hmm.
on time is late, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so I instilled those things into them. And then after I left diversity, I had my first daughter, first child, and then I was pregnant again. And I was like, okay, I need to settle down because I was on campus all the time. My daughter grew up on campus, and there was a position in the admissions office. Back in the admissions office was assistant director, and I was encouraged to apply. And I was good and pregnant, but I was encouraged to apply, and I got the position. And so the thing of it is, I know you keep hearing me say I was reached out to. I've been very fortunate in that I only had to, out of the 5 jobs I've had on campus, I only interviewed for one.
That's outstanding.
I only had to apply and interview for one.
One.
And I think that you have to understand that your character, who you are, goes before you. It says a lot about integrity, and it says a lot about how you carry yourself. And again, I try not to be anybody than no more than what I am. And if you take me as I am, then you're gonna get something good. You just gotta
Yeah.
take the opportunity. Let me walk through the door. I'm misjudged a lot. I got that all of my life. I got, she must think she's this, she must think she's that because of how I carry myself. But once they got to know me, they were like, "Man, you cool,"
Mm-hmm.
And that was always the bright spot is they give me an opportunity to get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know if I've answered the question or
Yeah.
derailed or whatever the
Yeah.
case may
No.
be, but yeah, I loved every position that I had, and it grew me. Every place I went, I grew. Um, my last one was probably the most trying. I ended up being in a place where I felt that I was being stunted, or, and I want to choose my words carefully. But if you ever been in a place where the person that's over you may be a bit intimidated or maybe feels that you know more than they do and they want to keep you in your place. And even though they say, that's not what I'm doing. Well, why you say that then?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I felt. And I didn't want to run with my tail between my legs, but I think when a position or where you are, and I'm not saying my university, but when a place, a position becomes unhealthy, you have to make a decision. And all I had to do to retire was to get 25 years. So I was beyond that, of course, but I needed to move.
Yeah.
It was just time. I had gone as far as I could go with as much leeway as I had. And even though I probably could have stayed and wanted to do more, I don't know what I would have lost had I stayed.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at the end, you felt, the writing on the wall, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and you made a decision. I think you made a wise decision based
Mm-hmm.
on, health, mental health, emotional health, that affects
It's real.
physical
It's
health.
real, brother. It's
you know
real.
and so it sounds like you made a good decision, and what you're doing right now, you're more
Mm-hmm.
in line with who you
Yes.
are,
Yes.
as gifted to be, who
Mm-hmm.
you were created to be.
Mm-hmm.
Although that position, not the necessarily the role and who it was under, that position was sounding like it was very fulfilling to you,
It
to be
was.
able to inspire young people, to be able to help mold and shape people's mindset in a different direction. You talked about the experience of being like on high school campuses, and then saying, who would want to go to a school like that, and you have an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to share in front of a whole bunch of, young ladies, and then change their perspective. I remember moments like that as a young man with mentors, and it
Mm-hmm.
changing my life and changing my
Yeah.
perspective. So
Yeah.
that's very powerful. I know it's powerful, and I know to some of those young ladies still remember that very moment.
Mm-hmm.
They might not remember your name. They might
Mm-hmm.
not remember it was attached to University of Women, but they remember, like, one time there was this lady who was speaking to me, and I just felt very inspired and encouraged. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So that's dope. And it sounds like that role did help you learn some stuff about yourself too,
It
and that
did.
you're continuing to carry that on even in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so All right. I'm intrigued and inspired, and excited to be sitting here with you and reconnecting with you. But we're gonna switch gears a little bit and have some
All
fun.
right,
All right.
let's do it.
I like to have fun with my guests, not just interview and ask questions. I like to have a little bit of fun too. So, for you, my sister,
Mm-hmm.
I have created a new game segment.
Oh.
So, in honor and celebration of Black History Month, I
Mm.
welcome you to the first installment of Off Top Black History Edition.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. So this is the very first time I've done this. I've never
You gonna ask
played
me who
off.
invented some stuff, and I ain't gonna
Uh,
know.
I've never played off top with anyone. I'll make it
Okay.
easy on you.
All right.
And so I'm honored to be doing this with you and viewers. I hope you're excited about this new segment. I won't play it with every guest. Occasionally I'll sprinkle it in there on the episode, but Ica happens to be the very first guest.
Oh
So
wow.
here's
Lucky
how this
me.
here's how this goes.
Okay.
I call out the name of a person, place,
Uh-huh.
or event,
Okay.
and you tell us in 30 seconds or less, first thing that comes to your mind,
Okay.
off top.
Let's go.
That's it. It's just a freestyler answer to the question.
Mm. Okay,
The
Johnny.
questions. All
Mm.
right, so you ready? It's
Ready
Black
as I'd
History.
ever be.
It's
Let's
Black
let's
History Month
do it. Let's
edition.
let's do it. Let's
It's
do it.
Black History Month edition. You in Mississippi, you went to University of the Women, you know what I'm saying? A lot of civil
Mm-hmm.
rights things happen in your state. I'm gonna make it
That's
easy.
right. Okay.
All right.
All right.
First, off top, Barack Obama.
First black president. My president. Inspiration. I think he's the person that when people think about a well-rounded, non-scandal uh, uh, people, he's a man of the people. I think that's who he is, and I think that's what we all wanted, out of him. I think that there are people who probably felt like he was going to come in and change the world, if you will, or change the U.S. I think he did what he could within the parameters that he had, but to get two terms out of it, he's my president all day, every day.
All right, my president is black, Lambo blue. All right. So off top,
All right.
you from the state of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
David Banner.
Okay. Activist. He's an actor as well. Uh, he's a good-looking brother. I do know that, but that's about it. That's Am I close?
You don't have to. I mean, there's no right or wrong answers.
Okay. All
You
right. All
don't.
right.
It don't
Okay.
have to be super long. It's just
All
whatever
right.
comes to mind.
Got you. All
So,
right.
all right, all right. Off top, Hurricane Katrina.
Ooh, devastating. Um, Matter of fact, some people ended up migrating from New Orleans to Mississippi to this area, and we housed them on our university during the storm. And so I got to know a lot of them and became friends with a lot of them. Some of them moved to the neighborhood that I was living in at the time. And so our I think our culture changed in the Columbus, Crawford, whatnot area, because of the people that ended up staying here, coming here and staying here. But very devastating. I've watched every documentary probably that's out there about Katrina.
Yeah. Where was the area that you live in even affected at all during
You know,
Katrina?
we had high winds and things of that nature, but there again, people sought refuge here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. But we were ready. Our university opened the doors, and they were in the dorms, and they got free meals and things of that nature. And yeah,
That's
it was
amazing.
yeah, it was something.
That's amazing.
True
Um,
humanitarians is what we became at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah, it was a life experience, man. When we
It
watch
was.
those documentaries on Hurricane Katrina and we see those people that are actually helping the whole survival, regime, you were on the front lines of that. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. All right, here we go. Off top,
Okay.
Kirby Loren.
I don't know. I don't
Do you
know.
know who she is?
I don't. I probably do,
I may be
but
saying her name wrong.
it's not coming to me.
She's a new artist from Mississippi. She's a
Okay.
light skinned female.
Okay.
She sings mostly, predominantly, heavily about our people's issues.
Okay.
Um, Very
Kirby
talented.
Lynn. I'll have to pull her up. I probably
I
have
think
heard
she goes
something.
by songs by Kirby or Kirby Sings or something like that.
Okay.
So
If I was in a
anyway,
pageant, I would say, I'm not sure of that answer, but I will do the research. And I would
as
smile.
yeah, and as host, forgive me, audience, if I said it wrong, confused all of y'all. You know what I mean? But some of y'all might know who I'm talking about. Anyway, all right, let's move
Okay.
on.
All
Here we
right.
go. Off top, we are in Black History Month, so
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah. So um, he is what we think of when we think about uh, the civil rights movement. At least that's what I think about. And the I Have a Dream speech and um, the March at Montgomery and things of that nature, and March on Washington. And so you in Selma, I'm thinking about Selma,
Hmm.
Alabama. Um, and so, yeah, freedom. I'm trying to think of other words. Humanitarian. But yeah.
Freedom in a Dream,
Hmm.
significant dream. Rest in peace, by the way, to Brother Reverend Jesse
Jesse
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just recognized for something a few days ago. As a matter of fact, I saw that, and the next thing I saw that today that he had passed away.
Yeah, yeah. One of the last few civil rights giants. You
Hmm.
know. All right, couple more.
All right.
Couple
I'm
more.
in the hot seat. Hot
All
seat.
right. Off top,
All right.
Coach Prime.
You know, Dion, he is an inspiration within himself. I watched again his documentaries. I think it was on Prime Video or whatever, and he has such great ways of uh, eloquent ways of saying things and motivating people. Kind of like Jesse Jackson did, keep hope alive. He uses all of those words, those play on words, and it makes you want to get up out of your seat, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I didn't, Dion, he got to get his love life together. But for as far as a man, I think that he is a great coach, a great inspiration, and a fantastic athlete, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very great. I mean, one of the best athletes ever in my
Yep.
lifetime that I've seen. Like,
Hmm.
there's a few goats in terms of athletic performance,
Hmm.
and he's in that bucket for sure.
Yep.
All right, last one.
Okay.
Off top,
Uh,
Oprah Winfrey.
yeah, of course. She was from Mississippi, Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Um, and the Oprah Winfrey Show was the show to watch when I was growing up, of course. And Oprah made you feel like you could overcome. I watched her story as a young woman, and I think I wanted to be like Oprah and wanted to be Oprah at one point in time. And so, continuing to see her do her thing is very much so an inspiration. So I'm glad that she proud to be a Mississippian and proud to know that something great can come out of Mississippi. And she lived in Nashville too.
Yeah, she went to Tennessee State
Hmm.
University.
Sure
Yeah,
did.
there's a dorm that she paid for on campus. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, she built Rudolph Hall. Well, Wilma Rudolph is a dorm in
Uh
the
huh.
name of Wilma Rudolph. I think
Oh,
that,
cool.
if I'm not mistaken, Oprah Winfrey paid for that dorm. But yeah, that is off top. Thank you for participating.
Woo, I
You
made
you survived the hot seat. You thought it was going. You thought I was going to burn
it.
you up, but I ain't
Listen,
burn you up
I was
that
just
hot.
sweating. Sitting
Yeah,
over here
when I
sweating.
mentioned Kirby, you were like, yeah,
Yeah, this is it. This is where it's going to
yeah,
go
it's game
downhill right
over
here.
right here.
It is.
And so audience, I hope I got her right. I know her first name is Kirby, so I may not be saying her last name correct, and I think it's either Kirby Sings or something like that.
Okay,
But go look her up. I think you'll find her interesting,
I will.
entertaining, and very inspiring in a in a I don't know even know how to describe. I don't need to describe it for you. I think you'll find her inspiring.
Okay.
So, all right. Thank you, Iika, for being the very first guest to participate in this segment. Thank you for having fun with us on this Black History
Absolutely.
Month edition of Off Top. You did
Sure
great.
thing. Thank you.
All right. All right, Aika, here's a future outlook question. If you can construct your business into the successful venture that you envision, what does it look like in 2 years?
Hmm. So in 2 years, I would say I would have a website by then. Ideally, and this has been something that has been proposed to me. I was approached by someone out of North Carolina about making a few of my items and allowing them to be sold from her boutique. So, housing some of my items in boutiques, not mass production, although that's kind of what she wanted, but just a few here or there, um, because I want to keep it unique to the
Mhm.
customized parts of it. So, website, possibly being in a boutique or two. I want to teach. I've been saying that. So in this next year, I'm I'm
Teach
hoping
what?
to start classes to teach people how to make these.
Oh,
Make blankets specifically. I have so many parents asking me about the young girls, and they want to learn. And so I have, a matter of fact, I have my first student that's going to start on March 1st. I'm
mhm,
so excited about it, and I'm going to teach her how to make hand knit a blanket. And so we'll start with a blanket, and she wants to learn how to make hats and things of that nature. So we'll just venture off. The longer she wants to stay, the longer we'll, the more we'll learn. So I could see myself being at various venues, maybe some Saturday workshops and things of that nature, and venture off doing it. Not being at home crafting all the time, but teaching others.
mhm. Yeah, that's dope. Paying it forward,
Hmm.
And so this I'm very inspired by the fact that you said you be wanting to teach others because it shows, like my last guest, Chuck Smith. He has an apparel company called Nicely from the Bay Area, and he was talking about how everybody can win. There's enough room for everyone.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter if I have an apparel company and you have an apparel company and she has an apparel company and he has an apparel company. They're not the same. We're
No,
not necessarily shooting for the same customers.
that's
And
right.
even if we are shooting for the same customers, it's up to the customers to decide what
At
they
the end of the
like
day,
at
that's
the
right.
end of the day.
Hmm.
So, you being willing to pay it forward and show other people what you do is very inspiring. And it shows that, to you out there that look, you don't have to be a gatekeeper. I mean,
Mm-mm.
if you have
Mm-mm.
such a unique design that you need to get a patent on it, then yeah, gatekeep that, get that patent,
Yeah,
and
sure.
protect whatever you got to protect. But if anybody can do it, don't be a gatekeeper. Let show other people how to do it, because guess what? Your unique self, even if the girl you're teaching, I could create sweaters, they're not gonna
Hmm.
be yours. And the
Right.
people that want to buy from you ain't gonna go start
That's
buying
right.
from her just because she makes them too.
That's right.
You see what I'm
That's right.
saying?
Hmm.
So what's for you is for you. So I'm very intrigued and inspired by that response. All right. If you were to give a motivational speech to a room of 40-plus-year-old women with
Mm.
desires to start their own business, what advice and encouragement would you give them?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to step beyond your, um, what am I trying to say, comfort zone. That's what I had to do. I had to step outside of my comfort zone. I had to not be worried about a no, or uh, someone not liking something. If it's in you, if it's something that you want to birth, I say bring it forth. You never know who again are looking for what you want or what you're making or what you're doing. Um, like you just stated, everybody can eat. you know, everybody can win, and that is one of the things I remember saying to even my the people that I supervise on my job. I just want to see people win. I would say it all the time. I just want to see you win, and so it would definitely be don't sell yourself short. Don't allow fear to hold you back. You are. the woman who you think you are on the inside. So let everybody else experience her at the end of the day, and go for it. Just go for it.
That's an awesome word. Awesome word. Yeah, I asked that question because I know there's, a significant portion of the audience that are in that demographic,
Hmm.
and some of them have desires to start their own business or write books or, you know, put out put out their art or what have you. And
Hmm.
I know some of them are intrigued and inspired right now by, just you sitting here and the word you just shared. So thank you for that response. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Okay.
This has been an amazing episode. I thank you for playing the game with me. I thank you
I've
for
enjoyed
going
it.
in, deep, detail about your business. But I want to give you the floor. I want to give you the opportunity to share with our audience anything that you'd like to talk to them about, or
Okay.
if you'd like to, if you want to, put on a little fashion show. You know what I'm saying? You want to do that, whatever you want to do. You got a few minutes here. The floor is
Okay.
yours. Iika, thank you
All
so
right.
much for doing this, but the floor is yours.
Okay. So Johnny, I want you to know that again, and this is something I didn't expect, and I want y'all to know that I didn't know any of these questions. So everything that
No,
I'm saying has been off the cuff, really.
yeah, amazing job.
But I want people to know that again, with these apparels, with these textures, you can create all kinds of things. I started out making a blanket, right? And then that blanket became a cardigan. And that started in February. And then in April, I taught myself how to use a crochet hook. And I didn't stop at making a hat, as y'all saw earlier, the hats. But I decided to make earrings, and so you can make earrings, and I make bracelets and more earrings and scrunchies for your hair. Um, and one of the most favorite things that people order from me, I have to pick it up off the floor. The ruffled hat has been one of the biggest things, the biggest highlights, and of course the matching earrings, of course. But the ruffle hat has been really inspiring. I also, Johnny, I make purses as well, and so this is one of my
Oh,
handbags.
that's dope. That's
That's
crochet. Is all, or is it knit?
that's knit, and it's that this velvet. It's a velvet yarn.
Does it close and clasp or something?
It does. It opens.
Is that like elastic opening? What is that? Like, is it
Nope.
stretching?
It just stretches. Yep.
Wow, that's dope.
So I've made many a purses for
Yeah.
people, and I got into making plushies, meaning um, so last Easter I decided I was going to make bunnies and just sell bunnies, and I probably made 50 bunnies and sold them for Easter. And this year I thought I was going to get a chance to do it, but I just decided to make a heart. I was gonna do something for Valentine's, but my cardigan orders were so plentiful that I didn't get to introduce my hearts for
That's
Valentine's. So maybe next year for Valentine's.
Well, you're
But
introducing it now, so y'all place
yeah,
your
yeah,
orders. Place your
that's
orders
right.
for
That's right.
that heart pillow.
And you see again the t-shirts that I do. This is considered a shrug. It's not really a full cardigan, but it's more like
Hmm.
a shrug. And then the matching earrings here. You saw the Delta cardigan. Um, I also make scarves. I'm gonna put my scarf on.
And how long does it take you to make? Like, I mean, I know you show me a lot of different pieces, but like, what's
Mhm.
the average time frame on one of those pieces
Ooh, so
to make it?
I'm just gonna say, for instance, this. I could probably make this in about, I don't know, 30 minutes, 30 or 45
30
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
That's it?
yeah.
You talking
Those
about
don't
that
take me long.
scarf?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Um, this T-shirt probably takes me the longest.
Hmm.
Um, I would probably say a day and a half, depending on breaks and things like that. I could probably stretch it out to 2 days. My cardigans and hoodies, um, I can probably make two in a day. I try to pace myself to make two in a day.
2 a day.
Um, One of the things I had to learn, John, is that you have to have wisdom when you're
Sure.
doing things. I was
Mhm.
so wrapped up in just creating, and I was so excited about. making and doing this business that I worked myself into almost another health issue and ended up at the doctor's office saying, my feet are swollen all the time and my hands are swelling. And she was saying, a practitioner was saying, well, what are you doing all day? I'm like, I'm standing up and making these blankets and whatnot. And she said, well, you need to sit down. You need to prop up. You need to whatever. And you need to, set a time. But I remember getting up in the mornings, being so excited about creating. I would start early in the morning and it would be, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the next morning,
Mhm.
and I would still be doing it. So I had to express some wisdom,
Mhm.
exercise some wisdom. And so, like now, I'll start my day probably around 10, and my cutoff, depending on what I have to do, is 8 p.m. And I try not to do anything past that, although sometimes it doesn't work. Because a lot of times I'm sitting here and watching TV or I'm just doing other things, and my hands want to do something. So I'll just
Yeah.
grab something and I'll just start doing it.
You
But
can cut yourself off sometimes.
yeah, yeah, I do. And my
Because it
husband
doesn't
will.
feel like that's amazing though. That means it just doesn't feel like work to you. It's
It
just
doesn't.
it comes
And that is one of the
natural and
things I
it's
said. I said, God, you give me something that doesn't feel like work. And
hmm
I'm just, what is, somebody said, what is that? I said, anything you're passionate about and anything that just brings you joy. And it does. I mean, it's so many things, so many endless possibilities, things you can make. Um, One of the things I wanted to venture off into eventually is home items like pillows, ottomans, things like that I want to be able to do as well. So to add that to, you know, the
Yeah, I'm a
list
fan.
of
I'm a
items.
fan. I'm looking forward to seeing seeing some custom pieces, what by Iika, designs by Iika, and put some price, throw the price tag on there.
That's right.
So all right, so where can people go to place an or oh, one question I didn't ask because I know there's people who probably want to know this that's watching. He didn't say nothing
Okay.
about like how much one of these pieces might cost. I
So
mean,
I don't like
I
to do
hope
a
I ain't
set
putting you on the
price.
spot, but I know it. Look, y'all. I'm telling you, it's custom.
Yeah.
So you're not
Yep.
talking about something you're gonna be able to go and find at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Macy's, nowhere.
Right.
Like if you getting this from Ica, then it's like you getting this from whatever other top tier fashion designer you get
That's
that
true.
custom piece from.
That's true. That's true.
So the price is gonna come accordingly. She told you she just made these by hand.
That's right.
So if you want one, you're gonna pay it, and if you don't want to pay it, then you don't want one.
Hmm.
So tell them how much it costs.
So my price range, I like to give a range because if I tell you that, this cardigan is $200 or whatnot, and somebody says, "Well, why is you pay $200 and somebody else pays 175?" So this particular cardigan, I don't know if you see the flex
I,
in it.
I do
All
the
right, so it's
shininess, yeah.
yes, it's more expensive. This particular yarn is more expensive than this yarn right here, and so
hmm
I'm gonna have to charge you according to how much my yarn costs, right?
hmm
I'm gonna have to take my time. I usually pay myself between $15 to $20 an hour, depending on how long it takes, and I have to add that cost into it. And I'm gonna add my shipping costs and again my materials. So my price range. So my purses, I would think, are not that bad. So the purse like this will probably cost you 75. All right.
That's
My
not bad at
cardigans,
all.
my cardigans are from 125 to $300, and that depends on the length.
hmm
So
hmm
it's not bad. I don't.
Not.
I think it's very reasonable. There are some people who what kind of thing, but again, it depends on the area. Um, and I had to think about my demographic for one. I know some crochet artists, like crochet artists,
hmm
um, who charges $300 and $400 for things. Um, I probably wouldn't sell anything around here for that. So I had to think
hmm
about again my demographic
Yeah.
and start there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I know that is maybe uncomfortable a little bit giving a specific price point when you make so many different types of things.
Yeah.
So hopefully you understand that there is a range, and that range depends on many different factors. And I hope that I'm not here to be your counselor. I'm not an
Sure.
attorney. I'm not a business advice, person that's not guru or anything like that. But your demographic in Mississippi might not be willing to pay above a certain price.
Mhm.
Your demographic for certain ages might not be willing to pay a certain price.
Mhm.
Your
Mhm.
demographic for men might not be willing to pay a certain price, but you may have opportunities where there's people in California
Mhm.
that see that as high fashion and
Mhm.
can't get it nowhere else.
That's right. You're right. That's right.
That's
I
all I'm gonna
appreciate
say
that.
for you. So, all right, that was fun, Ica. Thank you very much for sharing. Those are beautiful designs, by the way. I
Thank you.
hope that you guys get a chance to go, follow her social accounts, follow her on TikTok. You can see all the amazing designs and sweaters that she has outfitted people with. If you're a member of the Divine Nine, especially of the female orientation. You're not saying that she don't make sweaters for men because I'll
I
rock one of
can.
them.
I do. I
I
do.
rock.
I
Matter of
make them.
fact, because I've been, looking up more of your stuff over the past week, in preparation for, this interview, right?
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, one of my Facebook friends from my hometown that I follow, I won't mention any names. I
Okay.
seen a profile picture scroll up. He got on a
Ah.
full crochet outfit, a hat, a sweater, and
Yeah.
pants.
Oh wow.
I was like, that's pretty
Cool.
dope.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty dope. He pulled it
Uh-huh.
off. You know what I'm saying? And you got to
Yep.
be bold to wear it a full
Absolutely.
outfit like that as a man too.
Absolutely.
But he
Absolutely.
pulled it off. It was dope. So,
But sometimes people have to see it to see it.
exactly.
You
You got
know.
to see it to see it.
Yep.
That's one of the things that you would see somebody maybe at on a red carpet somewhere wearing. You'd be
Hmm.
like, oh, that's kind of fresh. He
Uh-huh.
wore it out to public. I could tell he was at Sun Valley Mall probably. That's what it looked like. Or Hilltop Mall. Hilltop Mall closed. He probably at Sun Valley Mall. All right. Anyway, I didn't mention his name, so.
That's cool. Yeah. You didn't. You didn't.
All right. That was fun. I enjoyed this time, Aika. This was so great. Like I said, you guys go follow her on her channels. All the information will be down below if you're interested in placing an order for one of these amazing designs. We'll have her information listed so that you can reach out to her. Keep in mind that it's going to be a custom piece. It's going to be a custom design. There's going to be some communication back and forth, and
Yep.
there's going to be a price tag at the end of it, and it's going to be a little bit of a wait time. But
That's right.
because she's professional and she's good at what she does, wait time
Absolutely.
ain't gonna be that long, and you're gonna enjoy what you like,
Oh
and you're
yeah.
gonna be the freshest at the event when you rock it.
And
So,
you will.
Ica, thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Johnny.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoy this. Thank you guys for watching this episode, another edition of Revisit Your Dreams. I want to remind you guys our episodes air Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for everybody out there on the West Coast. Once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next episode of Revisit Your Dreams. One love.
Bye, guys.
We out.
Woo! Thank you.
I know you do what you do. I seen your videos, your Facebook posts and stuff like that. I know that you got some candid nature to you. That's why I knew this. I said, I've been watching for a while. I said, Michael was a great interview. I love her personality. I love her designs. I was fascinated immediately when I crochet sweater because my grandmother crocheted them. I
Hmm.
used to see my grandmother doing it like all day.
Life is something, isn't it? When they say life be life.
Mm-hmm. You do, and you don't care what time of day it is,
Mm-mm.
what day of the year it is.